So already I have uploaded a video indexing. Okay, today in this video we are going to study about what is hashing. So in a huge database, when we use the index value for searching all the desired data, it is very uncomfortable. We cannot reach. It is very difficult task. It is inefficient to search all the desired data by using the index value. So we are going for hashing technique. Okay. Hashing technique, it is used to calculate the direct location of the record on the disk without the index structure. We no need index here. Just we are using a hashing function to find out the desired, to search the desired data. In this technique, data is stored at the data blocks whose address is generated by the hashing function. See, data is stored in this diagram. When you see, the data is stored in the data block. Okay, and this address for each and every record, the address is generated by using the hashing function. The memory location where these records are stored, okay, is known as the memory location where these records are stored is called as the buckets, data buckets or data blocks. Okay, data buckets or data blocks. So in the hashing function can be it can choose any column in a table to generate the hash, generate the address. Okay, but most probably it chooses the primary keys for generating address. The hashing functions usually it chooses the primary keys to generate addresses of the data blocks. So what is hash function? See here, hash function is a simple mathematical function to complex mathematical function. Okay. So here we consider the primary key itself as the address of the data blocks. Okay. So next one in this diagram, when you see in this diagram, the above diagram, we saw the data block addresses same as the primary key value. Okay, we have already studied. See, the data block its address is same as the primary key. Here it is using the primary key, the same it is using as the address also. So the hash function can be a simple mathematical function like exponential, mode, cos, sine, etc. Suppose so any of the mathematical function it can choose to find out the hash value, that is the to generate an address. Okay, so here it is choosing mod 5 as a hash function to determine the address of the data blocks. Here it is choosing what? Mod 5. So in this case, it applies the mod 5 hash function on where? On the primary keys and generate the addresses 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So this is the address of data bucket address and in corresponding actual data in the memory, this one. Okay. So this is the concept of hashing. So there are two types of hashing, static hashing and dynamic hashing. In the static hashing, the resultant data bucket address will always be same. There will be no change. Okay, so that means it has generated an address for employee ID 103 using the hash function mod 5. Then it will always results in this employee detail will be results in the bucket address 3. Here there will be no change in the bucket address. Okay, so static the bucket data bucket in the main memory remains constant throughout. So that is explained in this diagram. Okay, this is the static hashing. Static hashing is of two types: open hashing and closing hashing. So what is open hashing? When a hash function generates an address, okay, at which data is already stored, then the next bucket will be allocated to it. This means this mechanism is called as the linear probing. So this is called as linear probing. I will explain this with an example. Suppose we want to insert this record R3. Okay, it is a new record. Suppose R3 is a new address which need to be inserted. This is to be inserted. The hash function generates an address as 112. Okay, for R3, it generates 112 as R3. But the generated address is already full. So what it will do, the system searches the next available data bucket, which is free, and assigns the R3 in that one. So here it chooses 113. See, I mistakenly written here 112, here 110. Okay, the 110, it allocates, it generates an address as 112 for storing this record R3, but the 110 is full, so it generate address, but the generated address is already full. Okay, so the system searches the next available data bucket, that is 113, and assigns the R3 to it. This is the open hashing. But what is closed hashing? The bucket is full and it allocates new bucket for the same hash result and is linked after the previous one. Okay, this mechanism is known as overflowing chain. So here, see, suppose R3 is the new data, and this record must be inserted in this data buckets. Okay, so hash, it generates a address for this data record. So it generates 110. So already 110 is full. So what it will do, at the end of this bucket, it creates another one bucket to place this record R3, and it is linked through like this. And it is linked to is like this. So it creates another one bucket like this at the end of 110, and it stores this R3 in the particular record, okay, in this location. So it is linked like this. So this is called as overflow chaining. So these are the two things which comes under static hashing. So in the dynamic hashing, for what purpose the dynamic hashing was introduced, means in order to overcome the problem in static hashing, that is the bucket overflow. So here we study overflow chaining. So in order to overcome this problem, this dynamic hashing was introduced. So in this method, what happens? The buckets grows or shrinks as the record increases or decreases. This method is also known as extendable hashing method. So it can be changed. This is dynamically, it will be changing. It is not fixed. This method makes hashing dynamic. It allows insertion or deletion without resulting in poor performance. Does not affect the performance during insertions or deletion of the new records. Okay, so for dynamic hashing, it must that there are some procedures. Okay, what is that procedures? See, for how to search a key. Okay, for how to search a key, first it calculate the hash address of the key. Then it check how many bits are used in the directory, and these bits are called as I. Take the least significant I bit of the hash address. Least significant means the last 2 bits, 3 bits it will take for hashing, for generating hash address. This of the hash address. Okay, this gives an index of the directory. Now using the index, go to the directory and find bucket address where the record might be. These are the procedures for searching a key in dynamic hashing. So we can see these procedures using some example. So first you have to follow the procedure. Okay, we are going to insert a new record. How to insert a new record? So if there is space in a bucket, in that place the record will be inserted. If the bucket is full, then what happens? The buckets are split. Okay, they will be splitting the buckets and redistributing the record. For example, we can see this, how the grouping of keys are assigned in the buckets, we can see. So this is the record 1 key. Okay, first record 1. Its hash address is 11010. So already there is a data record. It is stored in the form of this directory. Okay, it has a address in the form of a directory 00011011. So this is the data records. Okay, so in order to insert this keys inside the data buckets, what you have to do? So for key 1, it is given the hash address generated is 11010. So you have to check the last 2 bits. The least significant bit, last 2, we have to check. 1 0. So in the directory, you have to check where is 1 0. So here is 1 0. So this 1, it is distributed in this bucket 1. It is inserted in this bucket B2, the bucket B2. So next key, the key to record. Okay, it can have this record. So the loss, this is the hash address generated for this key 00000. So you take the least significant bit 00. So here 00 is in this directory. So this 2, it is inserted in the B0 of the data bucket. So 2 is here. Okay. So see here, the last 2 bits of the 2 and last 2 bits of the 4 is 00. So these 2 are shifted to 24. The last 2 bits of 5 and 6. 5 and 6 are 01, 01. So they too are shifted to 01. So 5 and 6. The last bit of 1 and 3. 1 and 3 is 1010. Okay, 1010. So where it is shifted in the data records, there is given a directory 10. In that 10, which are stored 1 and 3. Likewise, the data, the records are inserted in this manner. So next, again, one example is there. An example, we are inserting key 9 with hash address 10001. So in the above, into the above structure. Okay. So how we can insert? So since hash address is 10001. So here we are, it must go into the first bucket. 01 is, see, 01. Okay, it must go into the bucket B1. It must go into the bucket B1. Okay, but the bucket is full. The bucket is full. B1 is full. Okay, B1 is filled with, see, B1 is filled with 5 and 6. You see this example. Okay, so B1 is filled with 5 and 6. So what is the last bit of 901? Okay, so here 5 and 6, 01, the bucket B1, 5 and 6, already the record is there, full. So now the bucket is full, no? So it is splitting. Now we